Of all the stories I've ever done, there is one that stands out above the rest. It stands out because if we hadn't done the story, thousands of lives would never have been changed for the better. It was a story of Romanian orphans. It was 20 years ago. We called it the Iron Crib.
"340 infants are housed here. They seldom, if ever, leave their iron cribs. So emotionally deprived are these children, the nurses told us, the babies pace and rock in their cribs as their only form of stimulation.
Shall I go inside?
It had never occurred to me until that moment that children could be treated so badly. In 1990, all over Romania, there were hundreds of orphanages filled with thousands of orphans.
There are more than 40,000 orphans in Romania, crowded into unsanitary and primitive complexes. And Ceausescu is the father of the problem.
Nicolae Ceausescu wanted a bigger population. So while he was dictator of Romania, no family was allowed contraception until they had had at least 4 children. Abortion was forbidden. But in 1989, the people revolted and executed Ceausescu and his wife. The poverty he had created forced families to give up children they could not afford to raise.
2 years and 8 months old.
Some of the babies contracted AIDS because Ceausescu, mistakenly thinking it would prolong their lives, ordered blood transfusions with unscreened blood.
This baby can't weigh more than 19, 20 pounds.
We traveled to the town of Cernavodă and opened the door onto an unimaginable world.
The children who do not have AIDS are kept in separate rooms, but the conditions are the same, perhaps worse. There is no mother's touch. With so many to care for, the nurse's attention is hardly affection.
One child in particular caught our eye. The child with the mouth filled to bursting also caught the eye of a couple in Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
I had to rescue that one child. I don't know what it was, but I had to do it.
When Nancy and Ken Fritz saw the story, they took a photo right off the TV screen, and with nothing but the photo and the name of a town, went to Romania.
We focused on the one child. We thought it was a 2-year-old boy. We went back to the orphanage and showed some of the child caretakers there the picture. They really didn't know which one it could be. They thought it might be on the 3rd floor, and the 3rd floor was all the AIDS patients.
The child wasn't there. Finally, on another floor, Ken found a little girl named Vasilika, who matched the photo.
So I knew I found the piece of the puzzle that I was looking for, the needle in the haystack. And then it all began.
Began with adopting little Vasilika from her iron crib in Romania into a loving home here in Minnesota.
She's here, she's home.
That scared little girl is 24 years old today. The fear on her face has been replaced by the brightest of smiles.
When you see that little girl in the orphanage and you look in the mirror and you see yourself today, are you happy?
Yes.
But when she was younger, the Fritzes wanted Lika to have a sister. They knew she had one living with a grandmother over in Romania. But when Ken went to get her, the news was not good.
And he asked the grandmother where she was, and the grandmother said the mother had come back and sold her for a pair of earrings.
Sold her
into prostitution.
That didn't stop Ken. He returned to the same orphanage and found another girl named Roxana. The 2 girls are very close sisters today.
She's an amazing sister. She really is. She looks out for everybody. She cares for everybody.
When Rox says everybody, she means everybody. The Fritz family is made up of 10 children now, with 3 more on the way.
A lot of orphans out there. They're just looking for a mom and a dad.
I didn't go to school to be an accountant. I couldn't, but I could do something special. I could be a mom.
Ken and Nancy are just an average family who have opened their home and hearts to children from Romania, the Ukraine, and Colombia. It's a house filled with laughs and love. It all started with Vasilika, a young woman diagnosed with a form of autism that her parents were told was caused from her time in the orphanage. Lika wanted to show me the scrapbook she's been making since the day she first arrived in this country. There's pictures from grade school and soccer, playing tennis, and new haircuts. And the poem underneath her high school graduation photo tells the story of this Romanian orphan girl.
There is always one moment in childhood when the door opens and lets the future in.
Wow.
There is always one moment in childhood when the door opens and lets the future in.
You may wonder how much it costs to adopt all those kids, and it is a lot. In fact, when the Fritzes returned with the kids from the Ukraine, they didn't have a penny in their pockets.
If you'd like to help the Fritz family, you can bring or mail a donation to any Wells Fargo bank. The information is at wcco.com/links. I'd like to thank Bucky Cowan, of course, and Pat Weiland, who that story was theirs as much as anybody, and Joan Gilbertson's for producing tonight's. And the story doesn't end here. Tomorrow at 10, you'll see how one of the Romanian orphans, out of gratitude, has dedicated his life to fighting for the United States of America.
Can't wait to see that.